And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'd love for you to save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you may need it, 813-750-0550. You can call or text that line. It's an off-air number, 813-750-0550. Call or text. Also, consumerqb.com. ConsumerQB.com, your number one resource for all things related to our show. And we bring on CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, all types of great home services. We get into self-defense and nutrition and all types of good stuff. We're going to talk aviation today on the show as well. Captain Will Smith in the house. Thomas Yunk as well joining us, Cons Helping Cons, as well as Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum here on the program. One of our contractor expert contributors talks about ways to avoid some of the misinformation in that world. And before we jump into this, I want to let you know about a couple of our hot listings that we've got here in Tampa Bay. We've got a property that we just listed at 5603 East Longboat Boulevard. This is a vacant lot that we've got available. Build your dream home in this gated community. You also have an opportunity to have a boat dock on the water as well, which from the communities. And so this is a great opportunity at 5603 East Longboat Boulevard in Tampa. I've got about 16 other vacant parcels of land, ranging from 84 acres is my largest, down to these one-off lots that are available throughout Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
And a special thanks to our partner here and a longtime friend of the program, Bilmar Beach Resort over on Treasure Island, the beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort. They've got 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Beach Bar and Restaurant, and this is the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, is the beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort, Treasure Island, Florida. Clyde Smith, general manager. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you whenever you talk to them. And book direct, don't book online at some of those engines, those search engines. You're not getting the best deal there. Book directly with the Bilmar Beach Resort. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we've been doing our Motivational Minute, kind of an ongoing series that we're doing, and we're talking about negotiation. I'm a certified negotiation expert. I actually teach negotiation and branding to realtors and other groups. So I like to talk about this one. It's an interesting topic when you get into the personality types, because the golden rule of negotiation doesn't necessarily work. The golden rule works great in life when you treat others the way you want to be treated, but not in negotiation. So when you think about that, there's 3 different types of personalities or negotiators, that is. So, and that's one of the biggest mistakes people can make is, treating the counterpart the way that they think they want to be treated or as themselves, but no. So you got different types. You got assertives, accommodators, and analysts. So we talked about assertives yesterday. Today we're going to talk about the analyst. And I think about this one with my real estate background, my mortgage industry background. It's kind of like the underwriter. That person, there's salespeople out in the field bringing in deals. And then you've got the underwriter that's making sure all the debt ratios line up, the loan to values, they're really analytical, right? So how they see themselves, they're realistic, they're prepared, and they're smart, right? And then how they may be seen by others is kind of cold and standoffish, and maybe they're not really being read the proper way in a lot of cases. Views of business relationships, as long as they aren't causing conflict, they are actively preserving the relationship. So they're going to make sure that relationship stays in place. They're going to be looking at the numbers. They're going to be very methodical and diligent when they think about the way they're going to be speaking and negotiating. So there's a couple of things you want to look at. Negotiation mindset for them, time equals preparation. Whereas if you remember yesterday, the assertive, time equals what? Money, right? Time equals money for the assertive person. They're thinking, hey, I got to get going. This time is equal to money, right? Silence to them is time to think. It's time for them to prepare. So you got to be careful not to jump in too fast when you're negotiating with a analyst. Silence to the assertive was, hey, I'm jumping in. I'm coming right back in. I want to bring more information to the argument. So we're going to leave it at that for today. breaking down the different personality type, negotiator types, that is, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show in our ongoing series. And by the way, shout out to Chris Voss, former FBI hostage lead international negotiator, with some of his tips that we talk about on the show from time to time. All right, let's jump into it. Captain Will Smith, welcome in.
Good to be here, Brandon. How are you doing?
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah. So a lot of things to talk about, man. You got this new workbook you're working on, and we got Thomas Young as well coming on the program in just a moment. Cons Helping Cons, what a great company and nonprofit that is. Can you kind of talk about Cons Helping Cons and your involvement?
Yes. Well, Thomas and I work together on helping these men and women transition from being incarcerated for short or long periods of time. And it's basically the connection that we have is that people that have already served time are helping people that are serving time or finishing their time transition back into the community. Now, there's a connection there because when you're coming out of prison, you're coming out a little paranoid. You're not going to trust anybody, but who you will trust is someone that's already walked a couple of miles in your moccasins. So with that said, we use, or Thomas uses his 501c3, Cons Helping Cons, to help this, because you create, it's kind of like you have a brotherly or sisterly love for this person and you want to help them succeed. The way Thomas and I work together is fulfilling this need by using, the people I can reach out to, by using the principles that I have, by using the principles that he has. And I just finished developing a workbook because there was nothing like that for the transition. The state just gives you your $50 check and says, okay, good luck, have a nice day. Yeah. Well, that's no way to transition someone. Right. Can you imagine if you were coming from another country and someone gave you a $50 check, said good luck, have a nice day? You'd probably fail. You'd probably go out in the street and start doing things to survive. Well, we try to mitigate that to the fact where they have comfort, they have shelter, they have clothing, they have an opportunity to start a job, and then they have an opportunity as well through the workbook and in the book to become successful. Maybe they want to do something more than they've done in the past. Right. Now is the opportunity, and Thomas and I are helping these individuals create that future, create that opportunity that probably wasn't offered to them before they went to prison. So now that they have that second chance, if you will, that opportunity that they didn't get before, they can change their outcome. They don't have to go back to prison. And part of this is helping reduce the recidivism rate.
Yes.
Getting the family nucleus back together. Let's find out where it went wrong, and let's help fix it.
Yeah, the recidivism rate, I mean, that's a big key. First of all, it's very commendable that you and Thomas are doing this. That's such a big thing to do, man. A lot of people don't take time out of their day to do much of anything, let alone as much as you put in this. So that's really awesome.
Thank you.
And the recidivism rate, that's a key aspect to our country right now. You hear these different movements across the country, BLM Incorporated, for example, based on a false premise that the police are bad. They're just going to look out there and they're just going to gun down, minorities, right? Mm-hmm. Totally not the case. You break it down, it really comes down to the father missing in the household, right? Yep. It's pretty hard to argue against that, that if you have a male and a female in the household, the kids are going to be better disciplined. They're going to have somewhat of a fear. I know I feared my dad growing up, my stepdad. He was our football coach, but also we knew if we got out of line, we got into a fight, we did something we weren't supposed to do, we had repercussions when we got home, and it wasn't standing in the corner for 2 or 3 minutes, okay? Yeah. It was a little bit more than that. But if you look at that, the recidivism rate goes hand in hand with that. If we can get people back into the families, the household, that nuclear family, and just to throw out a couple statistics, because I love Larry Elder. He's actually running for the election out in California, that recall election with Gavin Newsom, where hopefully they get him out. But so Larry Elder hopefully gets in. He's got some really good stats about that, and it talks about in 1960 the average single parent household was only 24%, and I'm talking about the African American community, for example. Today, flash forward to today, is 76%. Yep. So 3 out of 4 families do not have that father figure, and we wonder why there's so many police interactions and so many problems when they come against authority.
And that's the reason why, because they did not have the balance. Families need a balance. You have to have a mother, you have to have a father, because they both contribute in different ways. Women are very nurturing and kind and loving, and that's where the child picks up that side. And then men are very steadfast in what they do. There's repercussions for your actions. There's authoritative figure there, and that's where the child. If you remove one of those, you only have one side. And no, a woman cannot be a father.
Right. Absolutely. As much as the left wants you to believe that nowadays with all these different pronouns and all these different things, there's one of each. There's a male and a female.
And you have to have that.
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, you're going to have problems with with authority. And that's what we see, and of course, to throw another Larry Elder stat out there, there's 50 million police interactions. Use this when you're talking to people that want to say defund the police. Please remember these numbers. It's really simple. 50 million police interactions every year in America. 11 million actual arrests, okay? Now, out of those 11 million arrests, only 1,000 people actually end up getting shot, okay? Out of those 1,000 people that get shot, half of those are whites. Let's just call them whites, right? And then the other half is minorities. So 50 million to 11 million to 1,000, is that really systemic? Is that really an issue? Anyways, let's go back to talking about, it's so easy for me to get down those bunny trails, but we're talking about Captain Will Smith here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Will Smith Aviation pilot. He's author of the workbook and book, Ditches to Riches, Climbing Your Way from Despair to Success. And we're talking about trying to end and reducing the recidivism rate. If you're not familiar with that term, it means when you come out of prison, you go back into prison. So here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, we're going to bring in Thomas Young as well in the next segment. Thomas Young, Cons Helping Cons, is going to be here on the program as well. And when you think about these topics, what are some of the main points that people out there maybe don't know, and maybe that you want them to know, and how they can help?
Well, a lot of people that are in prison, they're forgotten about, and they're usually victims of their own circumstance. If you have opportunities in life, and you're given the same opportunities that most people that become successful are given, you're probably not going to go down that road. If you're looking as an authority, as people that are associated with gangs, well, you're probably going to wind up being a product of that environment, and you're going to start breaking the law, and you're going to get arrested. So how do we stop that? Well, most children, because their moms are working 2 or 3 full-time jobs, they don't have a parent at home. So what are they doing on their times when they're not in school? They're hanging out with probably people they should be hanging out with. And this is how we need to break that link. This is what's part of the balance of the family nucleus.
Break the cycle.
You've got to break that, because back in the olden days when you and I were growing up, Dad went out, worked really hard, Mom stayed home, took care of the family. She helped nurture, she helped with homework, and that, we grew a really great society from that. But when we let our government get involved and said, hey, we'll give you all the money you want, just make sure Dad stays away.
They're married to the government.
Yes, that's where we made our fatal mistake. That's what has created what we have today. And what Thomas and I want to do is, some of those people that unfortunately got tied up in that web, that nasty, evil web, we want to say, hey, we want to give you a chance. Let us kind of mentor you. Let us be there and be your support. Because there's a lot of us out there that want to help. It's just not a lot of us talking about it. And the more we talk about it, the more awareness we're going to bring to everyone, to where, hey, let's make a change. Let's make a difference. And we have to give of ourselves. It's kind of like planting a seed. You can water it all you want, but if you have no sunshine, it's not going to grow. You have to have that yin and the yang. You have to have the water and the sunshine. You have to have the mother and the father. If you're going to grow something, you have to have both. You can't have one. And it's really that simple, but people, for some reason, they don't want to see it that way.
They don't like what we have. They don't like our country. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, Thomas Young's going to join us, Cons Helping Cons. We've got Captain Will Smith in studio as well. Will Smith Aviation, and author of Falling from the Sky, as well as Ditches to Riches. By the way, I want to touch on the movie as well on the second half here. And also our feel-good story of the day coming up. But you don't want to miss that. We'll be right back after the short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Hey, Margie here with the Consumer Quarterback Show and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. If you're buying, selling, or investing, please give us a shot. We would love to help you. We are a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and you can reach us at 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550. ConsumerQB.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. A couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. We love to feature our real estate listings live on air to help our sellers profit more and sell faster, utilizing our innovation with radio, TV, and internet marketing. 80 different outlets here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Apple TV, Amazon, Roku included. We got a property at 10222 Meadow Crossing Drive here in Tampa Bay. This is a beautiful property up in that new Tampa area. 3,600 square feet, almost 3,600 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 4 bath, 3-car garage, large corner lot. You got a brand new roof with 40 solar panels up there as well, security cameras, smart home technology and thermostat, balcony, and lanai. Too many upgrades to list here on the show. Check out 10222 Meadow Crossing Drive in Tampa. And also another property here in Tampa Bay. We've got a property at 132nd Avenue in Largo. This is Pinellas County. It's over an acre of land. And you've got 2 rental properties on site. So you got 1,200 square foot property, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. You also have another smaller property that's 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Perfect for builders and developers that want to enjoy income while they're working through the development process. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, let's give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Victor with Chad Irrigation. Victor and his team, they do such a great job for all of your irrigation needs. Reach out to Victor with Chad Irrigation. Make sure you let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. And I trusted him with my home and my real estate properties. You can trust him too. First-hand experience. They're a first-class organization. Chad Irrigation, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got Captain Will Smith in studio. We're going to welcome in also on the phone line, Thomas Young, Cons Helping Cons. Hey, Thomas.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, good to have you here. So tell us a little bit about Cons Helping Cons.
Well, actually, Cons Helping Cons is a nonprofit group. We've been around for 8 years. We assist men and women when they exit incarceration. We find them a place to live, find them a job, and assign them a mentor. And we're up to having helped now over 1,100 people, with only 5 having gone back to prison. So our recidivism rate is less than 1%. And hey, now, I was listening to the first segment, and actually 2 thoughts came to mind. Will is actually exactly right. When you leave prison nowadays, they do give you a $50 check and a bus ticket to wherever you want to go. So what we have discovered is reentry has to start the moment that person walks out the prison doors. We don't even let them get on the bus. We have somebody pick them up at the prison doors. Because what happens is, somebody's been incarcerated 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. They really are not prepared to go back into society. Right. And we learned early on, you send somebody with a $50 check in their pocket to a bus station where the dealers and the prostitutes are hanging out, trouble starts right off the bat.
Right.
So we nip that in the bud. Everybody that comes into our program gets picked up at the prison. I've already driven all the way up to Weehawken, Florida, to Gulf Correctional to pick somebody up. I will not let them get on the bus. The second thing that came to mind was we're talking about family a lot, and Will, again, was right about this. When people are in prison, they tend to be forgotten about. Some of your family and friends will ride with you for a little while, but my discovery was after about the 10th year, everybody has left you. You're on your own. So what Helping Cons has actually become, and this wasn't even part of our design, we've actually become families for all these 1,100 men and women that are in our group. They consider themselves family. And we often talk about how family is not just blood, it's relationships.
Yeah.
So actually, Helping Cons has become a family group for many, many people. So those are just two thoughts that came to mind while listening to the first segment.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. That's great stuff, and very commendable. Again, by how you said 8 years with Cons Helping Cons, 1,100 releases, prisoner releases, and only 5 people went back in. Recidivism rate has less than 1%. That's pretty cool. Will, your reaction?
I think it's awesome. I mean, and this is something that we not only need to focus on here in our own backyard, but maybe across the nation. With the workbook, having this tool, we're both, Tom and I are both excited about it because this is something that's really going to help change lives. You know, you're coming out with something. They complete the course, they get a certificate. You know, it makes them feel like they've accomplished something to where if maybe they sat for 10, 15, 20 years in prison, they felt like they didn't accomplish anything.
Right.
So the first thing they have when they come out is a sense of accomplishment. I have a certificate. I did something for me. I did something for myself. Yeah. Now this is boosting them up internally, and they have a better attitude. And then we go from there, saying, okay, now let's focus on within the workbook. What do you want to do? What were your dreams? As a child, what were your dreams as an adult? What do you really want to do, and what do you really want to get out of this?
Yeah.
And to not go back to prison. They're like, well, maybe I wanted to own a landscaping company. Okay. Let's do that. Once they complete that, they'll have a mentor to help them, and then they become a mentor and help someone else. Mm-hmm. So you see how this works. It's constantly working within itself. So allowing one mentor help another become a mentor, you're constantly going to help these guys. Now, maybe a few apples fall off the wagon. That's okay, as long as we have more successful stories to talk about, and we're just not releasing these people out to society to commit more crimes, to go back to prison just to be released again. Because that seems like in the inner cities, that's happening a lot.
Yeah.
There's no repercussion for someone that's done the same crime 5 times. So just, okay, we'll release you and go back out. We've got to stop that.
Yeah, Chicago, I think, is the worst one. One of the worst ones. I think there's 500 murders already happened this year, and we're not even, of course, through the total year, but those types of crimes, man, it's sad to see that the people. It's just it all comes down to the cycle, right? Like habits we talked about in yesterday's show, habits, but then that habits are going to lead to a certain cycle,
right?
And the more that you can have that, and I love that you utilize family, Thomas, when you talked about family, and so talk about family and a mentor, the mentorship and the family side of this.
Well, part of the reason this whole thing works is because, like, for example, Will and I, we've been there. So we've got this ultimate trust right off the bat. And then when we work with them and show them, hey, you can be successful, because a lot of these guys and women are coming out really have not had a lot of positive activities in their life. So just for them to hear that, hey, you're doing well, and you help them get a business started, and they see that there's profit to be made, and they see that they can make profit without doing illegal things, this all develops your relationship with them. And it just, the relationship develops into a familial bond.
Yeah.
And that's just how it works. And then, of course, they see how excited they are about themselves. While just about everyone I've ever worked with says, hey, I want to do this for somebody else.
Yeah.
So they want to pay it forward. So they actually become the mentors now to somebody else who's coming out. And, of course, that's the ultimate scenario.
Yeah.
Somebody who's been there helping somebody else who's in the same situation. And that's what we're built on.
Yeah, it's so cool because it's that cycle, right? So if you can break that cycle, flip a negative to positive, as they say, and you come into a situation where you're building these basically like a raving fan, like a business is trying to build raving fans for their business. You're building raving fans from within. Cons Helping Cons. Find them online. Cons Helping Cons, free to serve. Thomas Yunk and also Captain Will Smith Aviation, and you can find them online as well. WillSmithAviation.com. Stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. More from our expert contributors when we come back. Plus, Congress does something good for a change. Passes bill to help veterans with PTSD get service dogs. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Johnny, let me know if we can proceed. All right, everyone stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We like to help our sellers profit more by featuring their listings on the show. 117 14th Street in Bel Air. This is a $1 million listing that we've got on Bel Air Beach. Beautiful property, and it's just a quick walk down to the beach. Literally at the end of the street, you're on the beach here in Tampa Bay, Pinellas County. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, almost 2,800 square feet. You got a private pool, gourmet kitchen, jetted air bathtub, temperature-controlled wine closet, covered lanai, and it's a great opportunity to own that beach property you've always wanted here in Tampa Bay. 117 14th Street, Bel Air Beach, Pinellas County. Great opportunity here to purchase. 207 East Luke's Lake Fern Road. This is a property that we've got. This is a gorgeous vacant land parcel for developers, builders, or maybe build your dream home at 207 East Luke's Lake Fern Road. Great opportunity here in Tampa Bay, again, that you can purchase a property. It's zoned residential, oversized corner lot, no homeowners association or CDD, and your close proximity to the outlets and the Wiregrass Mall. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, so we got Captain Will Smith in studio, Will Smith Aviation, Thomas Young Cons helping cons, and we're going to introduce and bring in Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Hey, Fred.
Hey, how you doing? This is a really good topic today. And I've commented on this before. Number one, I really appreciate what Will Smith and Thomas Young does. I think it's tremendous because convicts are not, they're human beings as well. And when they leave prison, they do have a choice of 2 roads to travel. And the ones that I've known have always gone the right way. And being in the construction industry, we come across these fellas all the time.
Right.
And, some of the hardest working, best disciplined people I've ever come across because they've had the discipline and they know what it's like on the other side. So in our industry, it's very common. So my hat goes off to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
that's a good topic to be on. Is just the discipline side. You know, they saw the flip side of what can happen when you go against the law and you go into those channels, those roads that you don't want to be. So then the flip side is, hey, there's opportunities out there. You can work construction. You can work the sky's the limit here in America.
That's right. We had a guy when I first got into the industry. This man was pouring our concrete for us, and his name was Charlie. And I said, Charlie, where did you learn how to pour so well? He says, in prison. The guy was very good at what he did, and that's not uncommon. It's the way it is, and the man was phenomenal. So anyway, we could talk aluminum. We could talk continue on this subject. I like this subject. I talk aluminum all day long. Sometimes it becomes a little mundane.
Well, Tampa Screens and Aluminum is a longtime friend of the program. Fred, you've been one of the longest, on-air contributors for the show. We greatly appreciate that. One thing on topic I will mention is the when we had the sheriff on, we had the Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister on the program. He mentioned that they have these different basically educational programs now, everything from basket weaving or hair weaving, hair weaving to how to run heavy equipment and welding and things like that. So there's some of that stuff is catching on, it seems, in different areas. Have you seen that, Will, Captain?
Yeah, I've seen it and I've heard about it, and where Thomas and I come in, you have to connect that you have to bridge that connection, because when they're coming straight out, they're really not sure what to do or what to expect or who to go to. So we create that, and that's why we ask them. Trades are awesome. We need more people in the trades because there's not enough in the trades. So we, you give them a list. Would you like to be a framer or a roofer or put up gutters or operate heavy equipment? They have options, and people respond better to options because now they have their choice and they make their choice of what they wanted to do versus being told what they're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, if I can just give you a feel-good story, a fellow that I just helped about 3 weeks ago get out of prison. He was a tiler before he went in, and so he wanted to get his tile business up and running again, so I helped him get a vehicle and helped him get his everything in order, Well, he started his business again, and he was just assigned 100 homes by a builder.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's really great. Yeah, so the roofing, the plumbing, the electrical, the like you just mentioned, tilers. There's such demand right now. Fred, can you speak to the demand?
Oh, the demand is insane. I haven't seen it this demanding since 03 and 04, which I was in this business back then. Back then we had a lot of new work, new builds, great economy. We also had 4 hurricanes go through at one time, so we were really stretched out for quality labor. Quality labor is in high demand, basically nationwide, but realistically down here in Florida, because of the boom and you see what's going on in the housing industry. You just can't get enough people to do the work. I make a joke. I have people come down from the Northeast and they're buying homes down here. And they say, "What do I need?" I said, "Bring down some help. Bring down some labor. Go down to Philly and bring some of them guys down. Some of them bums that I grew up with. Bring them down. But I just try to make a joke. But the reality of it is, there is not enough labor to satisfy the demand. And I can see that continuing for several years because the boom is going to continue, I believe, even if the economy softens up. I believe the housing boom is going to continue down here in the Florida area because there's so much ground. And they're developing constantly, and there's much more to develop, and there's more people from the Northeast and the Midwest that definitely want to get away from the cold and the taxes and everything else. They come to Florida.
Yeah.
The price we pay is trying to get around. The infrastructure is not quite where it should be at this point, and they really need to beef that up a little bit to accommodate all of the vehicles. The vehicles on the road that's the hardest part of my job, I tell people, is getting there on time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the infrastructure is definitely a challenge, and I've spoke with some of the county commissioners. Pasco County. I was talking to the gentleman up there,
Mariano.
Yeah, Jack Mariano, and so when you look at that, the infrastructure is such a key, and I know in Pasco they've got something like 50,000 single-family homes or units slated for the next 3 years. They ended up putting a moratorium in place, and you're right on point, Fred. You think about the infrastructure, the roads. I think about the strain on our water systems. We talked to Fred DeFelice about the water systems. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it all plays into it, and it's not just the roads; it's many other things. Sewage. There's still houses down here that are on septic, and the guy 500 feet away has a well from the guy that has a septic tank. I don't think that's too good, but you see a lot of that,
right?
Because the sewer systems are not in place yet, and typically what I've noticed is the sewer systems, they really don't go into place until the road becomes widened or something else, and then it's a good reason to put it in. But in the meantime, until that road is widened, that system stays the way it is, and it's antiquated. And this is all the price we pay for this beautiful economy and prosperity. And I've seen it before, and I'm probably going to see it again. But that's how it is. I think we're doing a pretty good job of moving forward, and I like the fact that there is a moratorium put in place, because that puts the pressure on the developers to do things and donate land, whatever it takes. In some cases, that's what they have to do to compensate for the problem that's in place.
Yeah, and if you just joined us, we're talking with Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We also have Captain Will Smith Aviation, Thomas Yunk representing Cons, helping Cons, 501c3 here in Tampa Bay, dedicated to reducing and ending the recidivism rate of the prisoners coming out of the system. Fred, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, from that perspective, give us an update also. What are you seeing on the supply side? I know supply chain has been very taxed as well.
It's just as bad as labor. Unfortunately, I believe the supplies could move along a little faster. There are people that don't want to go to work because they're being subsidized.
Right.
And that hurts everything. And I think that's soon going to change. And when that changes, I think you're going to see production increase. I sure hope it does. I mean, I sell jobs today with these composite panel roofs, and I look the homeowner right in the eye. I say it might be 2 to 3 months till we get the roof panel, and after we get the permit, and their jaw drops. They say, the last guy didn't tell me that. I said, well, he should have, because we all typically buy from the same suppliers. And, obviously we sell a lot of work because we're upfront and honest. Sometimes we lose jobs because we're upfront and honest, but that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But the panels, I have one that's been sitting for three to 4 months right now just to get the panel. They're just not able to get the panel, and that's heartbreaking. You put money down, you want a patio, you want this in between space. Thank you for that term, Brandon.
Yes,
and,
in between space.
They waited to get the home. Some of the people moved down. The home is built, and they move in. They want the home fast. They think they're going to get the screen room, in a couple of weeks. Wow, do I break their heart when I tell them the reality of permits and supplies. And it's just the way it is. It's probably the worst it's been over the past couple of years, but I'm assuming it's going to soon improve. I know that we're getting permits a little faster right now, and that's a plus. So you get the permits, now you can't get the labor to build the job or the materials to build it. And it's just it's a constant struggle, but we're out there rocking and rolling every day, Brandon.
Yeah, man. Good to hear it. Hearing great feedback from all of our listeners and viewers. Reach out to the hotline. We'd love to connect with you. 813-750-0550. Call or text. It's an off-air line. Comments from the show. Connections to our expert contributors. Captain Will Smith, Thomas Yunk, Fred Muth here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. 813-750-0550. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about this feel-good story of the day as well. Congress passes bill to help veterans with PTSD get service dogs, and it's some interesting stats here. We're going to talk about 700 veterans who've been through the program. 72% had attempted suicide prior to being paired with a service dog. So we're going to be right back after the short break. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show page, and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty on Facebook. We'll be right back.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253. Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Every day we love to tell you something positive here in our feel-good story.
Tell me something good.
All right, so Congress passed a bill to help veterans with PTSD get service dogs, and so there's a bill to connect more veterans with service dogs trained to support mental health conditions is headed to the president's desk. On Friday, the Senate passed the Puppies Assisting Wounded Service Members for Veterans Therapy Act, or PAWS Act for short, which requires the Department of Veteran Affairs to create a pilot program for veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder to train service dogs. And many veterans, says a quote here saying, many veterans with mobility impairments have had their lives changed, in some cases saved by service dogs. It goes on to talk about the statistics here. More than 700 veterans who have been through the K9 Warriors program, 72% had attempted suicide before being paired with their service dog, says Rory Diamond. He's the CEO for K9 for Warriors. Becca Stevens is also a 36-year-old combat wounded veteran, served in Iraq, was diagnosed with PTSD in 2011. She was paired with Bobby, a golden Labrador, 3 years ago through the K9 Warriors program. With Bobby by her side, Stevens said she's now 3 years sober and in and out of the public at all times, and she said she has given her dog a new life, or a new leash on life. Her dog has given her a new leash on life, that is. And so my takeaway question is, like, why don't we already have these programs in place? Here we are in 2021. It's like, why don't we already have this? It seems like we should have this. Captain Will Smith in studio, Thomas Young on the phones, Con Helping Cons, and Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. It's like, these programs, we should have these programs in place, is where my mind goes.
Well, I just don't think back 20 years ago they really cared as much as they do now.
Right.
So it's more attention, and the veterans are getting what they actually need now.
Yeah.
And they're not, being overlooked.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s and 80s, they were overlooked. They were just they didn't have the opportunities they have now. And I'm glad we're doing more for them now.
Yeah.
Because our reason for our veterans is we live in a free America.
Yep.
And more of this younger generation needs to wake up and realize that.
Yeah. Reading a story like this, it's like that's the first thing I've really heard in a while about Congress doing something positive.
Exactly.
It's all these politics and polarization on both sides. Let's do our top tips, parting words of wisdom. Let's start with Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Give me some top tips and nuggets of advice there, Fred.
Well, homeowners need to do their homework before they proceed with a project. I've run into quite a few issues recently where they disregarded the trees in the city of Tampa. They went forward with the foundation work, and foundation ended up too close to the trees. Now we can't pull a permit screen room. And so I advise all homeowners to do your homework, talk to the screen people, make sure that you're going to be okay with the permit for the screen, whether you go forward with the foundation with or without a permit. That's one big issue. I got 4 jobs sitting.
Wow.
For that reason. Make sure you do your homework. Check with everybody, because the city of Tampa is very cautious. They really have a lot of respect for their trees, and I appreciate that as well. But the project will not commence if the trees are too close to the slab. That's one thing that homeowners really need to double check before they proceed. Other than that, I tell people always ask a lot of questions in the construction business. Keep it simple. Stupid doesn't work, in my opinion, for construction, because there's too many surprises that can encroach on the back end. So don't keep it simple. Ask a lot of questions. Make sure everybody's clear. And throughout the project, I encourage the questions to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that one. Fred Mew, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. All right, Thomas Young, cons helping cons. Give us some parting words of wisdom.
You know, the Bible tells us that God wants us all to be prosperous. And so if you are looking at your life and you're feeling that you're not prospering like you should, you need to stop and take a look at your life. A reason that we don't prosper is because of our free will. We make mistakes. We make choices that we shouldn't be making. So you just need to take a personal inventory and decide, what is it you're doing and why are you not enjoying this prosperity that God wants you to have.
Absolutely, and that's a great point as well, is when people get in those situations where they get into those habits, those routines, those cycles, it a lot of times takes a major event. It takes some type of a car accident or a family member losing a loved one close to them to actually realize that. So to be prosperous, it's a God-given right that we have here in the United States, is to that pursuit of happiness, right? And another point that I love from gleaning from another radio show host in the Salem family, Charlie Kirk, he says, looking at the founding of the country, it used to say life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. But no, it says happiness, the pursuit of happiness. They changed that because they saw that could be construed as owning a slave. And so they changed that. That's how great our forefathers were in this country. And so I'll end it there. Captain Will Smith.
Well, go out and help, get behind what we're doing with the inmates in the transition program. There's a lot of 501c3s out there, and give some money to kind of help, because this is one thing we didn't talk about. When you're helping someone transitioning that's coming out of prison, sometimes that person might be a veteran. I served a lot of time, or spent a lot of time with some of our veterans in prison that served. Prison's the last place we need to see our veterans because of the sacrifice that they made. So by doing so, you're not only going to help a human being transition, but you're going to be doing a little bit more than that. So, help us out, help Tom and us out what we're doing. We're making a difference in this community, and we want this to become contagious and spread throughout our nation to where we're helping everyone have a second chance.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. I want to give a quick shout out to secondvote.com. If you haven't heard about this, it's a website. They're not paying me to say this. I just believe in it. It's 2ND vote. So secondvote.com. What it is, it's before you start making major purchases or even spending money, you have your first vote at the polling booth, like we know. You go in and you vote for whoever you wanted to vote for, right? Now you have a second vote, and that's with your wallet or your purse or your pocketbook, however you want to say it, right? Your debit card, where you're spending your money. Secondvote.com. I came across this site and I really love it. What it does, it basically ranks and it scores all of the companies out there based on how they lie on the political spectrum. So it could be conservative or far left, or however you want to look at it. So do you really want to support companies that are supporting abortion, for example, or gun control, for example, or illegal immigration? They're allowing that. So you can find out now. It's a lot of work that's gone into this. It's arduous work that's gone into secondvote.com. Check them out online. And I just feel that as a patriotic, citizen here in America, to see where the country, in some cases would be heading. So secondvote.com, check them out online. And definitely, that's a great company. All right. So we're talking with Captain Will Smith here in studio, Thomas Young, Cons Helping Cons, Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Fred, we got about a minute left. I want to give another minute to you here. Contractors, they're not all created equal. And we do see a lot of scams. We see challenges out there for the consumer. How can the consumers avoid those scams?
Make sure that the business card has a license on it. That's key. And I think by law, the business card, any piece of paper regarding the transaction, needs to have the license on it of the contractor. And it's a good idea to check the license, because at one time, believe it or not, I ran into a guy years ago. He handed me his card, and he had our license number on his card. So, how crazy can that be? But that's what goes on. So, it's a phone call to the Better Business, not
the Florida Real Estate Commission, or the
no, BB
Department of Business Professional Regulation.
Thank you. I give them enough money every year.
DBPR. Yep.
Yeah, so it's very easy to confirm a license number very easy to confirm that license number.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Fred, thanks so much, man. Appreciate that. That's a great tip from the Consumer Quarterback Show. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Reach out to him for all of your aluminum needs, screens, patios, porches, lanais. Has a lot of names, but we call it that in-between space here on the show, don't we, Fred?
You coined it, man. I use it all the time. Thank you. I'll write you a check. Your check's coming.
Absolutely. All right, Thomas Young, Cons Helping Cons. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate your participation today.
My pleasure.
And Captain Will Smith, appreciate you coming in.
Always, brother, always.
All right, awesome, good stuff. Hey, we always end our show by saying we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we greatly appreciate you tuning in into our show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page out there, as well as the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. God bless. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.